Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits as it should, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. All right. We got some things we got to get into. Okay. There has been some things that have happened so far, and I'm interested in the new latest updates that have happened over the past couple hours. There were some court appearances today. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm here for it. And also, we are also finding out the things that both father and son, or son and father, could be facing. What kind of sentencing they could be facing here. This is absolutely crazy. Like I said, can't believe this is even real, but we are here. We are here to talk about it, and we're going to get straight into it. Okay? Let's get into it. All right. So let me just take care of this real quick because I didn't get a chance to do that. All right. But we got some things we have got to talk about. All right. So do me a favor. If you're watching over here on YouTube, please be sure to hit that like button down below. Don't forget to hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. Okay, as everyone starts to file in everywhere, I appreciate you guys coming in and being a part of the conversation and being a part of the show. All right, so please be sure to hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, make sure you crush that follow button. Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Show some love. Follow. Please hit that follow button. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button as well. That'd be amazing. If you're watching here on my main channel, go to my secondary channel. It's crucial. Let me just say this again. I think it's very important for all y'all to go to my secondary channel. Okay. For those of y'all who are on the TT, go over to YT. Okay. Hit that subscribe button over my secondary channel. It's called the Pascal Show Clips. Okay. I have been doing a lot of updates on a lot of things revolving around this case. And there's a lot of other updates revolving around other cases that are going to be over there in a much shorter format. You see what I'm saying? Trying to clean things up a little bit for both channels. So you know what you get here and you know what you get over there. So please be sure to subscribe to the secondary channel, the Pascal Show Clips. Anyway, also go to down below on this main channel, hit that join button, become a member of the family. That'd be amazing. If you want to support the channel, by all means, check out that Patreon, patreon.com/the Pascal Show. And also, we got merch, y'all. Okay. And 'tis the season to be gifting. There's a lot of stuff over there on my merch page. Go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. I'm sure you'll find something that you'll love. Okay. All right, guys, we got to get into this. All right. Now, here's the thing. It's been very interesting today. All right. It's been a very interesting and very early morning. So that's why I wasn't able to do it, because it was just so damn early for me, guys. Watching, covering all this stuff nonstop, back to back to back. A man needs to rest from time to time. Dag nabbit. Okay. Let's keep it a buck. Every once in a while, it's nice to take a little bit of sleep. All right. So what we know is that this monster here, okay, I've been calling him a garbage pail kid, but let's be real. He's 14 years old. His name is Colt Gray. He made his first court appearance today, this morning, and he is looking at some serious time. Okay. Life with and without the possibility of parole. Here he is in shackles, guys. Ain't that something? Look at that. Look at all that. Him in shackles. Pretty crazy, right? What's crazy about this? Because we've seen plenty of bad guys in shackles, okay? Doing that weird little walk and everything, right? We all seen the shuffle. We've all seen the shackle shuffle, all right? dawned on many people, some innocent, some very, very guilty. But what's really crazy about this little monster is 14 years old. Absolutely crazy. Still can't wrap my mind around it because he is one of the youngest to ever have done this in America. Taking the lives of 4, injuring 9, and injuring, of course, many, many others who were just trying to run away or dealing with some serious PTSD, mental health crises because of what he did. Like I said, he threw a rock in a very small pond and caused some serious waves. And there's going to be a lot of people that are walking away from this. Yes, thank you to the sweet baby Jesus. They're going to be alive and kicking, but they are also going to have some serious things that they're going to have to do, right? As far as mental health and all that. And so I pray for every single victim, all of them, even the families, even the parents, everybody's affected by this situation. He threw, like I said, a boulder into the middle of a doggone pond. Okay. And this is crazy. All right. Now, what we now know, okay, that's him in shackles, right? Now, let me just show you guys this because we all been waiting for this too. All right. Here's the mugshot. Okay, a little bit enhanced. I had to fix a few things because these photos sometimes are just garbage. Okay, so this is the best I could do. All right. Thank you, Photoshop. But here's the thing. Here's the papa. Okay, Colin Gray. Colin Gray has been arrested. Now, I know a lot of you guys are wondering why he was arrested. The reason why he was arrested is because he gave that gun, the pew-pew, sorry. Okay, got to use these code words, unfortunately. But he gave that pew-pew to his son. Again, this all happened because, or his arrest all happened because he gave this AR-style rifle to his own kiddo, okay, who is only, at that time, 13-ish years old, gave it to him. And, of course, this kid used that same AR to go into the school and do this unthinkable thing, okay? Now, just so you guys know. And also, to add salt, okay, to throw salt into this very open wound, maybe a shot of tequila and squeeze that lime in that mug, okay, just to make it sting even worse. He did this months after FBI came rapping on their chamber door, asking him and Colt if Colt was putting out these threatening comments on Discord saying that he was about to do some very, very bad things, like light up a school. He didn't specify what kind of school or when he was going to do it, but he was out here saying this, okay? And of course, he denied. And then 4 or 5 months later comes Christmas time. And Papa Gray ends up giving Colt Gray an AR for Christmas. The stupidest thing I have ever heard in my entire life. Ever. So damn right he's been arrested, baby. Because this is exactly what he deserves. Who does this? Right? Right. So they both appeared in court today. And we're going to be looking at those moments here in just a little bit. Okay. But we do have some things, I want to look at a couple articles with you guys and all that, because again, this is just crazy, this whole thing. All right. But Colt did show up in court. You saw him in shackles. He was doing the shackle shuffle, walking into that courtroom. We are going to be looking at the some highlights and looking at some of the court video and all that as well. In fact, what's crazy is Colt was sobbing, apparently. He was sobbing in the courtroom, which makes no doggone sense. So now he has remorse for the things that he's done, when if he has remorse for it, he shouldn't have done it in the first doggone place, right? It's ridiculous. And then, of course, in my mind, I keep thinking, is this him just doing that so that he can get a little bit of sympathy? Okay. Is he doing that just to get a few moments so that they can go, oh, because he's 14. Oh, he's a little baby, as his aunt said. His auntie, T.T. Brown, went out and said, no, he's still a baby. He's just a little baby. No, he's not a little baby. Not anymore. Once he walked into that school with a deadly weapon like that and lit the place up, causing people's lives to perish, etc., man, he ain't no little baby no more. Now he's a monster. Okay? So miss me with the tears. Oh, I'm so remorseful for the thing. No, man. You shouldn't have done what you did. Period, point blank. Same thing with Paul. Papa Gray, okay? Any type of remorse he has, he's an idiot. I'll say it. He's a doggone idiot. Why? Because he gave the weapon, he gave the tool to his son. Same son that should not have had that weapon in his possession in the first place. Aside from his mental health issues, this kid was a minor. He was 13 years old when he got that doggone weapon, or around 13, 14-ish, right? Why give this kid a very powerful weapon in the first place? Put the mental health aside for 2 seconds. Just put it aside. Okay? Put that down. Why would you give a kid something like that? I don't know about y'all, but maybe that's some backwoods type of mentality type ish. I don't know. All right. But what I do know is that kid shouldn't have had that freaking weapon in his possession in the first doggone place. So let's take a look at this, guys. All right. I see you guys. Good morning. Come on in. We got a lot to talk about. We got some videos that we're going to be looking at as well. But let's take a look at this article here. Okay. We go over to the Daily Mail. And of course, they say Colt and Colin, okay, make their first court appearance, okay, as family's dark past is revealed. And let me tell you, this thing is wild, okay? This is some wild-ish, all right? The info that we are hearing about the mama and all that stuff. So we're going to look at this, all right? The father of school shooter Colt Gray sobbed and rocked back and forth during his first court appearance. All right. Colin Gray's hearing took place right after his 14-year-old son, Colt, learned that as a minor, he won't face the DP for unaliving 4 people at Apalachee High School in Winder outside of Atlanta on Wednesday, which is very interesting to me. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that, I don't know where you guys sit on the DP, the ultimate paying the ultimate price. Okay. But I do find it very interesting that he did something so egregious, so grisly, and he did something so bad that he's being tried as an adult, but he's not looking at the possibility of looking at the DP. I'm just saying that out loud. I think that's just very interesting. He's being tried as an adult because he did a very unthinkable thing. No person should be doing something like this, but he's not facing the DP, which is interesting. But they say, is that he could be facing life in prison or life in prison without the possibility of parole or the possibility of parole, which that half doesn't make me very happy. Okay. The possibility of life with the possibility of parole. I have a problem with that. I have a huge problem with that. Okay. And Melly, I guess because of his age, he's real lucky that he's not looking at the DP and paying the ultimate price for what he's done, right? Interesting, right? But there's a possibility of parole and there's a possibility of no parole, like just living out the rest of his life in prison. And I'm telling you right now, keep him in doggone prison for the rest of his days. And M on TikTok, yes, DP is exactly what that means, just so you know. All right. But this is crazy, right? Crazy. So let's continue on. All right. Life without or life with the possibility of parole. Interesting, right? So the teen appeared in person in shackles, dressed in a green t-shirt. Okay, we already know about this. He was handcuffed in the front of his body and looked down with his hair covering his face and spoke softly only to Judge Mingledorf. Okay. That sounds like a Harry Potter character, right? Mingledorf. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, replying, yes, sir, when he confirmed his name. All right. Meanwhile, his father, Colin Gray, cried. I let me correct myself. I'm sorry. It wasn't Colt that cried. It was Colin that cried. And still, that's idiotic as well. Okay. So he cried as he appeared shortly after his son in the same courtroom, charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 of second degree M, and 8 of cruelty to children, which I still am kind of curious about the cruelty to children part. Okay. Because he's looking at 8 of them, and that's a lot of cruelty to a lot of children, which is weird. And of course they said it may have something to do with the fact that he gave this weapon to his son, which is also very interesting as well, right? So Colin Gray shuffled in wearing his prison issued striped shirt and tracksuit with his hands cuffed in front of him like his son. He stated his name in a croaky voice, confirming his age and that he was able to read and write. And that's the same thing they asked about Colt as well. All right. And as you can see, the same photo I showed you, but he's doing his shackle shuffle into the courtroom. I'm sorry. All right. Same thing. Well, we now have a photo of Colin sitting there. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. The Band-Aids are still there, guys. Just so you know, road rash is real. Just gonna say that real quick. Okay. So Fuzzball, thank you so much for asking. But yeah, I still got Band-Aids on, but now I can actually fully bend my wrists finally. Okay. I bit it hard while on a bike ride, guys, just so you guys know. Pretty gnarly accident, but moving on. All right. So he told the court he completed education up to the 11th grade, got his GED, I guess, nodding along with proceedings as they took place. Okay. The distraught father began rocking after the judge told him the maximum sentences that he could receive and is expected to appear in court on December 4th. Okay. Preliminary hearings start on December 4th. All right. And if I'm correct, I think it's for both of them, right? That's for Colt and for Colin. Okay. For father and son. All right. Victim's family members stared at him throughout the hearing while he kept his head down and avoided eye contact with anyone but the judge. The judge advised the elder Gray, Colin, that he could face up to 30 years in prison for each felony M count, 10 years for each involuntary manslaughter charge, and the cruelty to children. So a maximum totaling in 180 years. Woo! All because he was an idiot and gave his son an AR for Christmas. Ain't that about a B? Wow. He gonna be gone for a long time. See, like this is what I'm trying to say, guys. Haven't we learned? Didn't people learn about the Crumblies? Didn't we see the Crumblies crumble? Aren't they in prison right now? Spending time, the parents. I'm talking about the parents. Forget Ethan for a second, okay? He in there for the rest of his natural life, right? Justice served on all 3. But isn't it interesting? Didn't we learn about the Crumblies? Like I said, ladies and germs, when are we going to learn? When are we going to learn? That's what I'd like to know. Didn't we learn about that? That parents can actually catch a charge for handing out just all willy-nilly weapons to their children. Didn't we know about this already? So how can, and I get it, not everybody's a true crimer. Not everybody's listening and watching the news and all that stuff. But there's also something else that I know that some people don't have much and don't use very often, but it's called common sense. Common sense, mang. Remember that? Remember that? You don't need a GED. You most definitely don't even need to know how to read or write to have common sense. Okay? You don't need that. Damn all that stuff. Throw it all over to the side. Forget the fact that you know how to put on your pants one leg at a time. Have you ever tried to do it at the same, both legs at the same? It's hard, okay, and dangerous. But you know common sense wise that if you try to put both feet, both legs into the pants at the same time, one, it's very hard, damn near impossible, but you could also get very hurt. Ain't that common sense being used there? Yeah, that's common sense being used there. Okay? You don't even need to know that 2 + 2 = 4. You don't even need to know simple math. You just need to know that, hey, this pew-pew causes a lot of damage. And given to a kid is going to cause a lot of damage, potentially. And maybe I shouldn't give this pew-pew to my mentally ill minor son. Just a thought, okay? Even people, with all due respect, that have brain damage, no common sense. So miss me with the nonsense of, I can't believe this is all happening in 180 years. Oh my golly. What? Common sense, guys. You don't need to be a true crimer to know this. Okay? You don't need to know. You don't even need to know about the Crumblies. It's just called common sense. Let's move on, though. Let's move on. I'm gonna step down. I'm gonna step down from my doggone soapbox for 2 seconds to take a breather. But come on, y'all. And I'm talking about everybody, all y'all out in the sticks. Hold up, all y'all out in the sticks that are sitting there going, "Hey, son, you're a man now. Happy holidays. Here's your AR." Come on, wake up, people. Put that my gun, my rights stuff, that BS off to the side. It's called common sense. You're putting a very dangerous, very powerful weapon into an irresponsible individual. I'll say this, potentially irresponsible individual. Let's keep it real. Without that proper supervision, without them really knowing the safety of the actual weapon, without them knowing that it could really do some damage on people, so on and so forth, you don't ever. And then on top of that, somebody who is, if you know that your child is going through some mental health struggles, they going through those changes, but they're not going through those changes as smoothly, and it's very optically known, don't give them any type of things that could cause them or allow them to make more damage out here in this world. Not only just to themselves, but to the rest of the people that surround them. Come on, guys. Common sense. Common sense. Sorry. Don't care if you're MAGA. Don't care if you're a lefty. Don't care where you lean. It's called common sense. Use it, everybody. Use it. All right, man. And I hope anybody who's watching this that is at least learning about this case, that has actually given their son or child a pew-pew like this, you better go and get that back. No, son, I don't want to get locked up. I don't know. I'm taking that back. You better take that stuff back. You better lock it up. Period. All right. All the ones that you got, because I know some people that got their stuff just strewn all over the house. Lock that stuff up, y'all. Common sense. Common sense. Oh, common Common sense. Let's go. Sorry, getting down off the soapbox. Let's continue. So he's looking at a maximum of 180 years, and he probably won't get the 180 years. Okay, he probably won't. But at the same time, man, I bet this made his butthole pucker up so hard. Okay, so let's continue on. And that's probably why he started crying, because he knows exactly what's going on. He's like, oh, damn. In about a month, he's going to be wearing Kool-Aid lipstick, holding the inside pocket of a man named Toby. Give it time, because he's going to be spending some time in prison, for sure. Dozens of emotional family members packed the courthouse from both Gray's, first appearance, with some visibly crying before the hearing even began. Some wore sunglasses over to cover their faces and were supported by detectives in the courtroom. All right. So family members for both father and son did not appear to be supporting them in the courtroom. Yeah. I mean, who would want to be there going, go Grays? Are you kidding me? Who would want to be in there all by themselves, just rooting them on? Yay. Are you kidding me? You're dumb. They're going to stay straight quiet. Okay? They're going to stay straight quiet. Here's the mugshot. And here's the thing, though, guys. All right. Let's talk about this for like just a quick second, because some of y'all out here are going, oh yeah, he is that a they them. Let me tell you this: kids express themselves with hairstyles and all types of things all the time. And I'm going to say this too: until we find out exactly what the breakdown is here and what it is, it's a him. He's Colt Gray until further notice. And I think it's ridiculous that everybody and their mama is trying to turn this into something that it may not be. So before we actually get into all that, before we turn this into another political BS thing, let's be real. Who cares? Who cares? He still walked into the place. He still had this AR in his hand, and he still lit that school up, causing so many tragedies. Who cares? Until we get some sort of manifesto or some sort of confession of some sort, it doesn't matter. It's still a monster holding a very powerful weapon, causing a lot of damage and a lot of tragedies. Who cares? I feel like some people are trying to move the goalpost in a way, and it's like there's no need to move the goalpost. The goalpost is there. It ain't moving nowhere. Okay? Evil wears many, many faces. Many faces. Doesn't matter how Colt Gray identifies himself as. It doesn't matter. And the fact is that there's no proof of that at all. So who cares? Let's be real. We'll start giving a damn when we need to start giving a damn. But y'all need to stop with the mess. Stop with the nonsense. Kids do crazy stuff with their hair all the time. This is very tame in comparison to the other things that I've seen. So you're telling me that a boy wants to, bleach his hair. Suddenly, he's identifying as a they, them. Are you kidding me? Haven't some of y'all grew up in the 90s with your frosted tips, fellas, trying to look like JT? Okay, it's gonna be me. Come on now. Miss me with the nonsense now. Miss me with the nonsense. So until we hear something new, all right, everyone needs to cool their beans. How's that? Sorry. You know exactly who you are. You know exactly who you are, okay? With your frosted tips. Come on, man. Okay. Let's go on, okay? I know some of the fellas are like, oh, snap. He ain't wrong with the coral freaking necklace, the tank tops, okay? With your big leg raver pants. Come on now. Okay, we seen those. Back in the day, would you be considered they, them? Come on now. Wait till we hear something new, okay? Have mercy. Wait till we hear something new. Everyone's trying to turn it into something else. It's like, he can't just be a straight boy. What if he is? And what if he isn't? Who cares? He did some serious damage. Some serious damage. Okay? So let's continue on. Literally, I saw a video and somebody's asking, like, could he be that? I'm like, who cares? Who cares? All right. So Colt Gray's attorney, moving on. Colt Gray's attorney did not request bond for the teenager. He wasn't going to get it, I'm sure. All right. And was seen pacing around the courtroom before his client was brought in front of the judge for a second time. Gray looked down at his feet as he entered the courtroom, blah, blah, blah. All right. So the teenager is being represented by Harmon, or attorney Harmon. The judge brought Gray back into to correct a statement he made, telling him, "I wanted to make it clear to you that the penalty foes not include death. So it includes life without the possibility of parole and with the possibility of parole." Which, by the way, in my personal opinion, I'm not happy with that. I don't like seeing him have options. Okay? I don't like seeing him have options at all. I really don't. Okay? So in 2005, Supreme Court decision forbids the execution of offenders who were under the age of 18 when their crimes were committed. Okay. Now, this is Marcy. Remember, I thought it was Macy Gray. Okay. I try to say goodbye and I choke, Macy Gray. But it is actually Marcy Gray. Okay. There's some interesting stuff about her as well. Okay. Which we will get to in a little bit. All right. So the teen's father was charged Thursday in connection with the unaliving, this tragedy, including the counts of, and we already know about all that. So let me show you guys a little bit of this stuff. All right. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. And hold on. Michelle, thank you so much. OMG, alive on my birthday. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Michelle. I appreciate it. Big 4-0. Dang. Happy birthday. The perfect way to celebrate. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Happy birthday. I know some people were saying happy birthday, and I was wondering whose birthday that was. So happiest of birthdays to you. And everybody give her some cake emojis or purple heart emojis in the chat. Say happy birthday in the chat. That'd be greatly appreciated. She's a great supporter of the channel, and we love her here. Happy birthday. All right. Starlight, thank you so much for the super sticker. And Nikki, yeah, thank you so much. Have some coffee on me, Pascal. Okay, I will. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the love. Rob Slack, what's up, man? Thank you so much. Woo! For being a member for the past 20 months. Wow, man. And thank you so much for the comment. Pascal is the GOAT. Thank you. If your problem child wants a pew-pew, why would the father not buy an airsoft pew-pew or something that doesn't do this? You know what? That's a damn good question, right? It does make you wonder, why would he do something like this? And of course, why not just give him something, like a BB gun or, something of that sort, right? Not an actual full-on powerful weapon like an AR. I'm quite curious about that too, right? It just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. It's idiotic. Lack of common sense here. KO, thank you so much for the love. Yes, and why teaching your kids unaliving animals is fun? What do you expect after such evil lessons? Don't do that. Have respect of life. I agree. Have respect of life. Although I do love me a really good steak. I will say that. But now when it comes to hunting, I know that there's a lot of families out here that look at hunting as a rite of passage, right? That step towards manhood, that step towards adulthood. so on and so forth. A lot of people look at hunting or the ability to hunt as a survival tactic and all that. So I do have respect for the ones that are hunting in the most respectful way. Now, when it comes to this, right, and of course, our country, we really, pride ourselves on hunting. We really do. Sometimes it gets crazy. You'll see photos of people, putting their foot on they just took the life of almost an endangered species, it seems like, which is really idiotic. But at the same time, I understand the learning of it. Okay. But there's also something else about it that I think needs to be brought back in. It's the respect of that life that was taken as well, right? That this deer or what have you, that hog, whatever you are hunting, is going to be is just sacrifice its life to feed yours, right? And so I feel like there's a lot of that just kind of gets thrown in the wayside. But at the same time, I'm not sitting there standing around and watching every single person that's gone hunting out here in these streets, out here in these wilderness streets, and how they talk to their kids about hunting. But it's up to the parents at the end of the day. It's up to the parents to teach them the value, okay, of life and the fact that there is a sacrifice that's made to feed and give life, right? To continue replenishing and giving the food and giving the nutrients you need to continue living your life. But again, every parent is different. Every person is different out here when it comes to how they hunt and how they talk about life. I think there needs to be more of that realization that life is very precious. I see it every day in these streets. It seems more and more in just regular streets. Okay. Forget hunting. We're seeing more and more of people not valuing life and realizing how precious it is, right? Until they are found in a situation where, like a life-threatening situation where they realize, wow, life is precious. And some people aren't learning that from their families, right? So I think there is a lot, right? I think there is a lot that us as parents, okay, us as adults have a responsibility to teach the ones that are coming up after us. We need to start teaching them more. But I don't think that's being done enough, to be really honest. So let's get into this, guys. We got to take a look at this courtroom. And then, of course, we're going to take a look and talk about the mama in a little bit as well. But I do want to share this with you guys and take a look at this courtroom appearance by Colt, because this is very just interesting just to hear the dialogue and whatnot, because I think there's a lot being said in there. Okay. Yes, Nicole. Okay, so Pascal, can you please clear up the issue with the sentencing? So the judge at first said Colt could face the DP, but then he brought him back in to clear it up and said they would not be seeking it. Exactly. So they're not seeking it at all, right? He's not seeking the DP at all. He is looking at life with or without the possibility of parole. And that's it, right? And I know some people aren't very happy about that. And given the fact that he is being tried as an adult, but he is also still 14 and all that, right? So it's very interesting. And I wonder how you guys feel about that. Put that in the comments down below or off into the family chat. If you're watching on YouTube, that'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. And let's get into this. We're going to take a look at this. Please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Don't forget to do that. Hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. And let's take a look at Colt's appearance. We also do have the daddy Okay, Papa Gray's appearance as well, which we will be taking a look at very, very shortly. Let's take a look at this.
For everyone's benefit, that there is, as everyone certainly is aware, considerable interest in what has occurred in our community in the last several days. For that reason, the court has seen fit under Rule 22 of the Uniform Superior Court rules to allow media outlets to record some of these proceedings. However, under those rules, the court has set in place certain limitations, and I just want everyone to know that the media has been informed of that, and I'm confident that they will comply with that. But otherwise, there is to be no filming or recording by any members of the public or any other individual other than those authorized specifically by the court in its signed ruling. Are we ready, counsel, to begin and bring the defendant in?
State's ready, Your Honor.
All right.
Defense is ready.
All right.
All right. And enters Colt
All right,
Gray.
good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colt Gray?
Sir.
My name's Curry Mingeldorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings. Mr. Gray, I do need to inquire as to whether you're able to read and write the English language.
Yes, sir.
All right. I also want to inform you, I want to ask you, do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney in these proceedings?
Yes, sir.
And you are, in fact, represented today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Zane Harmon, you're here on behalf of this defendant. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you understand that you have the right to be continuously represented throughout this proceeding. And if you cannot afford to hire counsel, then this court is obligated under the Constitution to provide counsel for you without cost to you. All right. I am going to inform you of a few other matters. And I'm not going to ask you anything, just inform you. So one is, I want to make sure that you are aware that you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything at all. And it's important to understand that because anything you might say could be used against you at further proceedings associated with your case. I want to inform you of the charges that you currently face. In essence, you are charged with 4 counts of felony murder, as outlined in the state warrants that have been issued against you. I want to make you aware that the maximum penalty for felony murder, so for each count, the maximum penalty is that you could be punishable by death, by imprisonment for life, without parole, or by imprisonment for life, with the possibility of parole. If you have any questions about these charges, then I would urge you to discuss those with your attorney. I would invite you, Mr. Harmon, to inform the court as to whether there's a request for bond at this time.
At this time, Your Honor, there is not a request for bond. We will file the appropriate motions if that becomes necessary.
All right.
Now, again, do you really expect? I mean, what? Obviously, they're of course not asking for a bond or anything of that sort. I honestly, truly believe that there is going to be some sort of plea deal. That's what I really think. I think there's going to be some sort of plea deal. I don't know if we're going to see this go to trial. I think that they're going to try to make this go as quickly as possible because let's be real, he did this. He even said it. Allegedly, he was even saying this when he was getting interrogated by police. And apparently, he just kept talking. So there's a lot of things that law enforcement know that we, of course, that we don't fully know as of yet about this. But again, the fact that he was saying that he did it and that, yeah, he was there, caught red-handed with the weapon and all that stuff. I'm wondering if we're going to see we're going to see this go through all the way through in a trial. I just don't know. I think he's going to get a plea deal, and then it's going to be whatever he gets, and it'll be a wrap. But then again, you never know. Now with Colin, I don't know. I think we may see the inside of a courtroom with him, but with Colt, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna. I think there's gonna be. I smell plea deal, personally. Okay, so we'll see what happens. All right, let's continue.
An indictment by the grand jury for most felony offenses or accusations. Well, you have the right to receive an indictment for these offenses. And I assume Mr. Brad Smith is here on behalf of the DA's office, or he is our district attorney. And he's accompanied by Ms. Patricia Brooks, who is his chief assistant. A preliminary hearing, you'll have the right also to a preliminary hearing, unless you make a bond, which of course at this point there's no bond being requested, or unless you waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. As you sit here in this courtroom today, under the law, you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point in any proceeding will not be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. Counsel, let me just inquire as to whether there are any other items that the court should address before we conclude this preliminary hearing.
No, Your Honor.
Well, I do have one piece of information to convey to the court. There was a development yesterday afternoon that makes it necessary for our office to have alternate counsel appointed, and arrangements have already been made in that regard. I've already explained that to Mr. Gray, and alternate counsel will be appointed by the end of the day today.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Donna C. Graves. All right, then with that, this hearing is concluded, and you may escort this defendant out.
All right. So we just wrapped up the preliminary hearing for 14.
So, like I said, he comes in, they talk about everything. Of course, he's brought back in a few minutes later, and then the judge basically says, "Hey, just want to let you know. Of course, you're not facing DP. You are facing life without the possibility of parole, or life with the possibility of parole." And then they, of course, escort him back out of the courtroom. Now that was Colt's, right? That was Colt's whole situation. And I truly think that he is going to do a plea deal. That's what I think. I could be absolutely wrong, but my assumption is that he's going to get a plea deal. Of course, I am quite curious as to what you guys think about that. If it's something that you think is fair, or that should he, ride this out and go to court. For me, I just want him to get exactly what is coming to him. Okay, I think he should get charged with it, and of course, I think he should be convicted, and he should be sentenced within the full extent of the law. That's what I think. I don't think he should be seeing the possibility of parole. I think he should be living the rest of his natural life behind bars. Get him the right kind of psychiatric help that he needs, and let him be in that prison till he perishes. That's what I think. I think he's a lifer. I don't see him as somebody who can, what's the word? I don't think he's somebody who can be put back out into the world, okay, out into the world and be fully what's the word? What's that word? You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm forgetting the word. Okay. Yeah, rehabilitated. Thank you, guys. Woo! It's Friday, guys. It's Friday. Okay, it's Friday. Remember that? But moving on, I really don't think okay? That he's somebody who could be fully rehabilitated and then put back into the world as a safe safe person. I see this person being a menace to society if he was to be released after decades, okay? And God knows what kind of experience he will have in juvie, moving on into prison as well. Because you got to remember, he's going to spend a good portion of it, at least a few years until he's an adult. He's going to be in juvie for a while. Then he goes into prison, okay, as a lifer, with a possibility of parole. If he is any way, shape, or form able to be freed, okay, because he gets that parole part thing, I really do not think he is somebody that could be fully rehabilitated and then come back into the world and be a functioning member of society. I just don't see it. I see this person trying to do something again. This is a person who's very dangerous. He was given the right tool at the wrong time. Okay? That's just what I think. If he's not looking at the DP, which I understand, okay? If he's not looking at the DP, then life, period. Leave him there. Okay? Let him rehabilitate behind bars and be there. Let him be there. Okay? This is not somebody who deserves to be out here at all. Let's get into the dad. Okay? We got a clip from the papa. So let's take a look at this.
And at this hearing, I'm first going to ask you just a few questions, and then I'm going to advise you of your rights and also let you know about a preliminary hearing that's been scheduled for you. Why don't you just state your name, please? All right, pull the microphone down, please. There you go. All right, and how old are you, Mr. Gray?
54.
Oh, God.
And are you able to read and write?
Oh,
English
God.
language?
Why does he sound like pig vomit? Oh, my God. Stop it. Stop it. I'm sorry. I know you guys on TT don't know what I'm talking about and don't even know what I'm hearing. But my Lord, I'm sorry. That was 2 seconds in. I'm already like, I was. But you hear that? Did you? Am I the only one that heard that? That sounded like pig vomit. That sounded just like Stefan Stearns. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, okay, Madeline Soto, all right, she went missing in February 26th of this year. This piece of trash named Stefan Stearns, who I like to call Pig Vomit, okay? That's his nickname, all right, because I don't like saying his name. He's the one who took her unalive body and dumped it out in the woods in Florida. All right. Now, this is a case that's been unearthing, and we've been learning a lot more about that case, and it's been absolutely knuckin' futs. All right. But during his interrogations, during his interviews with police and whatnot, he sounds just like that. 54. Just sad. Trying to sound like this weak little puppy. Okay. Sorry, but no. I know I just interrupted that, but that just burnt. Ooh. 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 It's like pig vomit? Are you here? You did this too? Okay. Let's get into this. But he's doing the whole like sad little weak little puppy. I'm sorry, homie. You did this. Okay. You made a decision to walk into Dick's Sporting Goods store and say, hey, let me get that AR. My son's going to love that. My 13-year-old mentally unstable son who's been making posts online about lighting up a school. He gonna love this weapon. He gonna love it. And now he's like, 54. Come on. Shut up. Okay. I digress. Sorry. Lo siento. I'm gonna roll back just a little bit so we can hear this. Let's take a look.
There you go. All right. And how old are you, Mr. Gray?
54.
And are you able to read and write and understand the English language without
Yes,
any
sir.
difficulty?
Yes, sir.
How far did you go in school?
11th grade GED.
Okay. And I note that you have counsel seated with you at the table. You understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney at all times for this and all future proceedings in your case?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that, of course, if you cannot afford an attorney, that the public defender will be appointed to represent you upon your request.
Yes, sir.
All right. And counsel, would you identify yourself, please, for the record?
Donna Seagraves, we are going to have new counsel assigned to Mr. Gray later today.
All right. Thank you. All right. Okay. Sorry. Just need to make sure that the system is working. And all right. So the following aren't questions that I'm going to ask. I'm just informing you of some things. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you at further hearings or at a trial on the charges that you're facing. For this hearing, you're not going to be questioned about facts and circumstances surrounding your charges. You are currently charged with, and you'll be provided with copies of the warrants if you don't already have them, currently charged with 2 counts of felony murder in the second degree.
Now, real quick, I think the two, the couple that are, a bunch of people are wearing shades inside, but you can see the two that are wearing red. Okay, the black couple that are sitting right there. I think that's Mason Schermerhorn's parents, if I'm correct, or at least family members of Mason, because you got to remember Mason was one of the 4 that lost his life, that lost their life. Okay. But it looks like some of the families of the victims are sitting front row, for this whole thing as well. And yeah, this is I can only imagine what they're going through right now.
You're charged with 4 counts of felony involuntary manslaughter. You're charged with 8 counts of felony cruelty to children in the second degree. Now, for these offenses, for the felony murder counts in the second degree, felony murder in the second degree, the maximum penalty for each count is up to 30 years imprisonment. For felony involuntary manslaughter, of course, again, there are 4 counts. The maximum penalty for each of those offenses is 10 years imprisonment. For the 8 felony cruelty to children counts, the maximum penalty under the law for each of those 8 counts is 10 years imprisonment for a maximum total possible penalty for the charges that you currently are facing of 180 years imprisonment.
Damn, 100, which we already talked about, but 180 years, y'all, because he handed a weapon to his son that he shouldn't have done in the first place. And you see him rocking back and forth. You know what I mean? Like having this out of body experience. Like, I can't believe that I can't believe this is happening. Right? Sound like pig vomit and everything. Even like Alec Murdaugh, right? Maggie, Paw, it's got that vibe as well. Just trying to sound sad, remorseful, and of course, rocking back and forth. But at the same time, it doesn't change a damn thing. He did what he did. And there's no sympathy for this man. There should be no sympathy for this man, in my personal opinion. There shouldn't. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have handed him this weapon at all. It'd be a different story if this little garbage pail kid went into his office or wherever. Let's just say all of them were neatly stashed away in a locker, you know what I mean, in some sort of safe. And this kid walked in there, opened up the thing, figured out how to open up the locker, or open up the safe, grab a weapon and do this, it'd be one thing. Okay. It's like, okay, you can't control your kids 24/7. When your back is turned, or when you're at work, you hope and pray that your kids will maintain being good, right? And they won't do crazy things, right? But this is different. He handed this to the kid as a gift. Here you go. Even after law enforcement was already over there interrogating them because of posts that he was posting online. And by the way, law enforcement said, oh, it can't be him. There's no way it's him online on these Discord comments. We can't connect Colt to the email address. It's not him. Well, by the way, it was him. Clearly it was him. There's no way that you went and knocked on the door of a future monster just by coincidence. He was definitely posting things online, and he was definitely doing terrible things. Now, here's the thing. Aside from Colin being a dumbass, all right, by giving his son a weapon that he shouldn't have given to his son, we have to put this in consideration too. Yes, he's rocking back and forth. Yes, he is absolutely shocked. Of course, there's no room for me to try to understand that. But I do understand him being shocked to a certain extent, right? I do understand that I'm sure in his mind, he never thought this would ever happen. But again, if you give somebody an inch, they will take a whole 15 miles. You gave him that tool. You didn't think twice about the repercussions. And also, I'll say this too, never underestimate the power of denial. My kid would never do that. My kid's a saint. And if he did, I rip his doggone head off. He knows that I'd set him straight. If he was ever to try to step out of line under my watch, there ain't no way. There is some sort of level of ego, okay, that's going on here as well. Oh, he's watching it under me. He's with me. The men are together. I'm leading by example. I'm showing him what a real man is like out here in these streets. That ego is out here too. But still, for me, the fact that law enforcement came to his home after these posts online, and he did not once for 1 second take a step back and go, wait a second. All right, son, are you okay? Is everything all right? Do we need to talk? Do you need to talk to somebody? And in fact, son, we aren't going to do those. We're not going to be hunting anytime soon. We're not going to be going out to the gun range and, firing off our pew-pews or anything like that for a little while, son. All right, I'm going to lock these away. You're not going to have access to them. If you touch them, I'm going to get you. Okay? You're going to get all kinds of privileges taken away from you. But until we know exactly what's going on with you, we're going to set these things aside for a little while. But that's not what happened here. That's not at all what happened here. In fact, here's another thing that we need to talk about. Because here's the thing. As much as we live in a time where mental health is now more in the forefront, right? Now more socially acceptable, right? Socially aware, right? There's still a corner of the world that believes that when a man or a male expresses mental health concerns, expresses their emotions, that they're weak, that they're not men, that they're a little soy boy, a little soft, a little softy, right? What are the possibilities of this actually happening in this scenario? Because I've been hearing that Daddy, not the greatest daddy. Apparently he raises his hands to the kids and all that stuff as well. But what are the chances of him in that kind of mentality, right? Quit crying, kid. Be a man. Man up. Those things do still exist. Now, obviously, I don't know the inside of that home, but it sounds like a very, very terrible upbringing, terrible household, and all that stuff as well. The foundation is very, very faulty, very cracked. But imagine if you have a father that thinks in that type of way, right? Real men don't cry. Real men don't speak about their issues. There is no such thing as mental health, because as soon as you speak to a professional, you're a weak little boy. So in fact, I'm going to make you man up even more by giving you an AR-15, because that'll set you right. The rite of passage. Now you're a man. So now it's time for you to man up. Here's your AR. Now you're a man. Man up. Miss me with this nonsense of being sad and needing help. Okay? Let's figure this thing out by being a man. Shove all that stuff on the side. Watch what I do. This is what men do, which is really sad, because that is still a mentality and still an approach for a lot of things out here in this world, to the point where you have kids, mainly boys, and a lot of kids in general, but in this situation, mainly boys, who are scared to speak out and say that they're having issues, that they're struggling with something, and that they need help, because they're scared that their daddy or the father figure in their life, the male figure in their life, is going to sit there and shun them for actually being honest, for being open and saying, I need help. If you noticed, T.T. Brown, his auntie's the one out here speaking about this. We didn't hear anything. Of course, we didn't hear anything about it from any other extended family members as of yet. But if you notice, it's a woman that's saying that he was having mental health issues. We didn't hear anything from Colin or any other male in his life. Could it possibly be because of that he's confiding in the women and saying, hey, auntie, I really need help, but is too scared to speak out about this to his own papa, because he already knows what kind of response he's going to get from his dad. Now, here's the thing, though. No matter what happened here should not have happened. He is more responsible than any other person in this thing. Okay. Who I'm referring to is Colt, the 14-year-old. He walked in, he had the AR, he did exactly what he did, right? He is completely in the wrong. Okay. And he should get exactly what's coming to him. Hopefully it's without parole, without the possibility of parole. But there are also other factors that happen in here, not only just law enforcement, not only just the potential of the school maybe dropping the ball, but also the family. Because again, we still live in a world where mental health is looked at, is side-eyed in certain places in the world. Because let's be real. Anytime you say, oh yeah, I'm talking to a professional, there's still a part of some people that sit there and go, oh, you talking to somebody? And oh, that's cool. But in their head, they're like, oh, damn, you crazy. What kind of crazy are you, bro? You see what I'm saying? There's still a stigma attached to when you speak out and say, hey, I am going through some things and I need some help. Or when you say, I am seeking help and I am speaking to a professional, I have a therapist. Suddenly everybody goes, oh, damn, you crazy? What's wrong with you, bro? What happened? Childhood trauma? What happened to you? Instead of just, that's cool, man. That's cool. This is the same situation here. You got a kid who has been begging, allegedly, begging for help for months because of whatever is going on in his head. And it's being ignored. And I think one of the reasons why it was being ignored is because of what exactly I just said a little bit ago. Some men don't like to talk about their feelings. They don't think it's very manly, and so on. So what do? They over masculine, or they overdo it with the toxic masculinity BS by going, oh, here's a weapon that's going to make you realize how man you are, how manly you are. And you're going to get all this fluffy fluff feelings out of your system and know that you are a man. It's sad. Again, all of these things were ignored. All of them were ignored. And now you see Papa in court right now, and he now is crying. How manly is that now? Let's continue. It's just ironic, don't you think?
If you have questions about these charges, which I assume that you will, the court urges you to discuss those with your attorney. Let me inquire as to whether there's a motion for bond if Mr. Gray is moving for bond at this time.
No, sir, not at this time. We will allow alternate counsel to make that decision.
All right, thank you. I also need to inform you that you have the right to an indictment by a grand jury, and you also have the right to a preliminary hearing unless you make bond or waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. I want to make it clear to you, Mr. Gray, that you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point cannot be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. I mentioned the first appearance hearing a moment ago. That is being set for you for December 4th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Currently, that's set to take place in the Magistrate Court of Barrow County. It could be subject to change, but I just want you to know that that is the date that we currently have. In fact, counsel, could you approach, please? I have this, let's see, I need to scratch this out.
Yeah. So as you guys already see, I mean, clearly this is, he's sitting there rocking back and forth, and he's just doing the whole like, oh, lo siento, please forgive me. I didn't know what I did. I made big mistakes. It was a terrible thing. I can't believe I did blah, and it is what it is, right? But now he is facing upwards of 180 years in prison if found guilty on all, and if he's charged and convicted and sentenced to the fullest extent. 180 years. That's a long time, guys. Okay. That's a long time. Now, we got to talk a little bit about the mama, because I know that all of us have questions and want to know a little bit about mama. But hold on. This thing is tripping hard. So let me just see if I can get this somewhere else real quick. Let's see here. Okay, now this is interesting. Again, this screams, look at this title alone, okay? This screams, oh my Lord, screams Crumblies. Again, screams Crumblies, all right? But, so, let's see. Okay, so we already know about Colt Gray being obsessed with mass tragedies, okay? And we already know about him being interrogated and interviewed last year, okay? Okay, so his dad owned up to having the pew-pews, okay, these weapons in the family home, telling an investigator Uh, in FBI footage from last year, there's nothing loaded, but they are in the house. We actually do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He just went hunting and shot his first deer last year or this year from last year. Okay. Very interesting. So let's get in here. Okay. So apparently, meanwhile, so of course we already know about all this other extra stuff, but they say the parents were going through a bitter separation and custody battle, and the family was on the radar of the Department of Family and Children's Services. That's how messed up this family is right now. Okay. The GBI said in a press conference. Now, we learned yesterday as well that Marcy, okay, was recently, or, most recently arrested because she keyed Colin's car. He called police on her. Police showed up and she had a whole bunch of paraphernalia with her. Like I said, she had more substances on her than CVS pharmacy. Okay. So it's understood that Colt was living with his father during the split. Okay. His maternal grandfather told CNN. Okay. The boy lived in an environment that was hostile. Okay. His dad attacked him. Okay. I mean, I'm not talking about physical, but screaming and hollering. And he did the same thing to my daughter, the baby mama or the ex-wife. Okay. So Gray's mother, all right, Colt Gray's mother, all right, Marcy Gray, has been arrested multiple times and accused of paraphernalia or substances offenses, because we got to use these code words, guys. All right. So she has also done a stint in rehab. All right. Don't see her if she's not clean right now, and you know what I mean? I just don't see how she would be able to get full custody over her child, especially now after this. I mean, obviously he's going to be in prison now, so there's no need for a custody battle. But at the same time, though, I feel like it would be very difficult for one to do that unless they were clean, right? So she was first arrested in March 2007. Okay, on 5 vehicle-related misdemeanors, including reckless driving, improper right turn, and DUI, court's records show. So she pleaded guilty in June 2008, paying a $600 fine and receiving 12 months probation plus 40 hours of community service, according to a review of Fulton County, Georgia court records. She, quote unquote, successfully completed all conditions of probation in 2010, the docket shows. In November 2023, she was arrested on a pair of felony chemical possession charges after allegedly getting caught in her car with a glass jar with crystal-like substance known as meth. And a red clear baggie with a powder substance known as, and I got to use these code words, Fenty. Interesting, right? According to an arrest warrant filed in Barrow County Superior Court. She was also hit with misdemeanors for having a clear glass pipe used for the ingestion of these substances, okay? A baggie containing multiple tablets of cyclobenzaprine, a prescription pain pill, and for affixing someone else's license plate to her Nissan Rogue. So she took somebody else's license plate and put it onto her car. Oh, she in bad shape. And this was last year, y'all. Last November. Damn. Marcy ultimately pleaded guilty to 3 misdemeanors, second-degree criminal damage to property, criminal trespass, and use of a license plate to conceal identity. She stole license plates, and there she is. Addiction's real, guys. It is real. And real sad. Real unfortunate. Although she faced a maximum sentence of 7 years in prison, Marcy was sentenced to a month and a half in jail. Wow. Which was all but canceled out with credit for time served, plus roughly 5 years of felony probation, according to plea documents in the case. The judge forbade her from using any type of alcohol or substances, and she was barred from having contact with her husband. Marcy also faced civil charges brought in 2019 by a Chevy dealer who accused her and her husband of passing a bad check as a down payment, according to the Atlanta Journal Constitution. The final disposition of the case is unclear. A neighbor revealed there were problems immediately when the family moved into the area in 2022. So somebody told New York Post there were nights where the mom would lock him and his sister out of the house. And they would be banging on the back door, screaming like, "Mom, mom, mom," and crying. It was absolutely devastating. She added, it was constant A. You guys can read that. All right. It was very, very sad. Now, of course, the auntie, okay, has been highly critical of her siblings' parenting skills and has previously lashed out on social media about it following the horrific tragedy. Okay. She said she was focused primarily on the victims her nephew is accused of hurting and unaliving. And of course, they say our hearts and humble prayers are with the families affected by this devastating tragedy. This is what she said to The Independent, the article I'm reading right here. So again, you got the mama who's an absolute train wreck as well. Okay. Mama is a train wreck. And apparently it sounds like because of her own addictions, she has been very focused on chasing the dragon, right? Chasing that high, getting whatever she needs and not concerned about child rearing, right? Parenting her kids to the point where she's locking the kids out of the house. And I'm assuming it's so that she can go and get what she needs, right? So that she can have a little unconstructive time, okay? Destructive time for herself, if that makes any sense, okay? But it seems like she really enjoyed, and still to this day, because she's still alive, obviously. But this is not a fit mother, in my personal opinion, okay? She's just not. But again, she is a mother. And it's sad because you got Colt growing up in this type of environment. And I'm sure the amount of child neglect, the amount of CA, okay, that has gone on while he was growing up, I'm sure that built up. And of course, during his most formative years, okay, I can put a lot of hate in somebody's heart, a lot of anger in somebody's heart. Real talk. But again, like I said, that does not excuse anything that has happened here at all. Okay. But it sounds like just two extremely terrible parents, two very dumb, terrible parents. All right. It's very frustrating. Okay. Very frustrating. Sorry, guys. I'm just checking to see if there's any other updates here. But yeah, she has quite the rap sheet. Real talk. Real talk. But let me just check something here real quick, guys. Just pulling up some things. What? Just seeing if there's any new updates thus far. I don't see anything so far. Unbelievable. Yeah, there's nothing else right now, unfortunately. But again, just crazy to see how this whole thing has transpired. It's just it's just so wild. I mean, like I said, it's just I'm still trying to find ways to wrap my mind around this as much as I can as well. But again, this is something that happens all the time. This is something that happens too often, way too often, and it needs to find a way to stop or at least slow down, right? But it also comes down to the parents. Okay. It really, really does. In these types of scenarios, in these types of situations, it most definitely depends on the parents and how they're raising their kids. And I get it that not every parent is perfect. No parent is perfect. Okay. But at the same time, some parents don't even try. Some parents aren't even trying. Okay. Like this situation here. Parents aren't even trying, y'all. That's crazy. And extremely unfortunate. Because again, if this was done differently, if he was raised differently, if there was actual care, and if they actually listened to what this kid was saying, none of this would have happened. Or at least that part, right? But they're not listening to the kid. They're too self-absorbed in their own things. You got a mom who's more concerned and more interested in ingesting substances than she is about raising her kids. And you got a dad who sounds like he's just a jerk, raising his hands or speaking to his kids in a aggressive way instead of actually raising them and teaching them to be better, right? Like I've said before, sometimes these parents need some of these parents need a license to parent. Let's keep it real. Some of them really, really do. And it's just sad. It just really, really is sad. But just so you guys know, the kiddo, 14-year-old Colt Gray, is looking at life with or without the possibility of parole. The dad, Colin Gray, is looking at a maximum of 180 years in prison if he is found guilty on all those things, right? And if they decide to give him every single year, he's looking at 180 years for doing this, for allowing this, right? And gifting his son this weapon. And I have to say this, at some point, us as parents need to learn from the mistakes, the horrific mistakes that these other parents are doing in broad daylight. Use this as a teaching lesson, okay? Use this as a wake-up call, especially a lot of y'all who have those weapons strewn about the house. Wake up, everybody. Wake up. We live in a time where people are willing to do the most, okay, without any concern of how precious life really is. There needs to be a change, guys. There really does, okay? Danny, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so very much. It's crazy, guys, all right? Crazy. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Thanks, Pascal, for keeping us updated on everything going on in this crazy world. Yep. I mean, it's the job. It's the job. Okay. But it's always a privilege and honor to let you guys know what's going on out here in these streets. But guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It means a lot. Thank you guys so much for being here. Okay. We do need to talk about that the security in the schools. Things happen quickly. All right. Things did happen quickly. Once everything got started, it stopped. And I think it's because of the SROs that were on the campus, and of course law enforcement that were there as well. But we're going to talk about that very, very soon. Okay. So please do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button down below before you head out. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms like the TT and elsewhere. And if you are watching on those other platforms, hit that follow button. Okay. On my TikTok, Facebook, X/Twitter, and Instagram. Please show some love. Go and subscribe on my main channel here. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Please and thank you. Go over there. Subscribe right now, okay? Make sure the notification bells are set to all so that you know when I go live and whenever I upload, because it is random, okay? Whenever things are breaking, all right? So please do me a favor on that. Go check out that join button down below. Become a member of the family. That'd be amazing. Of course, hit that Patreon if you want to support even further. And check out my store, my merch store, pascalmerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. I'm sure you'll find something you'll love. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.